I want the truth to be known. I want the truth to be known. Then I want lenders to stand up and do what they said they was going to do, honor their word, allow us to be in the building, allow us to be there for free, do what they said they would do, what our partnership was meant to be, and let us help them sell cars, and let them help me with the community and continue to save lives of these young people that's in the street that need me every day. I don't know if you know what it's like for a mother to come in with her child in tow, and he's only like 5 or 6 years old, and she's bawling and instead of the kid bawling and crying because she don't know what to do with him because they're not going to let him go to school because she can't control him. He's out of control. And someone told her about me, and she bring that child to me. I look into that child's eyes and talk to him about Taekwondo, give him a high five, and you can see his whole demeanor starting to change right in front of us. But I know it's got a lot to do with God too. I really, really believe that because God just seemed to touch me and touch the children, and before you know it, their lives is changing. And that happens a lot, and that's going to be destroyed because we don't have any place to go right now. We don't have anything we don't have any money, so this thing hurts.
Anderson's Taekwondo is just a pillar in the community, and there's a sign on the side of his van that says it takes a village to raise a child. And I truly believe that he is like the chief village leader. He pulls the students in off the streets. He gives them something to strive for as far as telling them that you can say no to drugs, you can go to college, you can be anything you want to be. And so that's one of the things I really like about the center. In addition to that, he instills just faith and goes back to just those spiritual beliefs. It's a Christian center.
My birthright name is Richard Elijah Anderson, but in the past 40 years, I've worked with the American Taekwondo Association, which the national headquarters is here in Little Rock, Arkansas. In the last 40 years, I've become the highest ranking African American in the complete organization of the American Taekwondo Association, the World Traditional Taekwondo Union, and the Sangam Taekwondo Federation, which reaches out more than 300,000 students across the world. But more importantly, I think in my accomplishments, I've been instrumental in being able to reach some children.
I have children in here myself, and they are achieving one of them has their black belt, and the other one I have two of them that have black belts, and the other two are achieving their black belts, and they're working hard to get to the next level. Every time that they achieve one belt, they work even harder to get to the next belt because Master Anderson lets them know that they can do it, that they can beat any obstacle that comes before them.
My name is Nisa Langle, and all of my children attend Senior Master Anderson's program. We come to both the Little Rock and the Pine Bluff Center. I have a great respect for the work that he has done over the years in the community and with children and the programs that he offers. My kids love it. My husband is now doing it. I will probably also join the program. But he does a lot of good things. He gives children opportunities that they would not otherwise have. The children get the opportunity to take trips to the tournaments and things like that, going to places that they may not otherwise go. And he works hard to make that happen for a lot of children who would not be able to go, whose parents may not be able to afford to send them or have them participate.
We have several students that's gone on from being in my program and now gone on to college, finished college, got their degree, and now working in a city and doing wonderful things. And their children are now with me. And a prime example, if you don't mind me giving, is Ricky Gaston. Ricky and Michael Gaston was left on the doorstep of their grandmother by their mother, and she ran off to Phoenix, left them on the doorstep, rang the doorbell, and took off. Well, their father was also cross-addicted with drugs and alcohol, and they got a chance to see him on television all the time. but not like most television people. He was being put into a police car or being arrested for drugs or alcohol. This was something these kids had to grow up in. They was growing up with the idea of trying to decide, do they want to be a Crip or do they want to be a Blood? No real ideal about going to college, no real ideal about what they was going to do with their lives until they met me. Ricky is a fifth degree black belt, 3 times world champion, and now district state champion. Michael Gaston works with one of my students that trained from 12 years old and up in Michigan, Senior Master David Inman, who lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, and has a school there. And he took Michael for me, and Michael is doing well there with him, and just got married and had a little baby boy, a little baby girl, I believe. So they've been very successful.
Chief Master Anderson offers wonderful things here for the kids to get off the streets so they won't be in gangs and they have something else to do instead of robbing people and stealing. He teaches them to stay in school, get an education. He teaches them that they can do whatever they want to do in life. All they have to do is work hard at it and achieve it. He teaches them never to quit. He also teaches them to be respectful to their parents and their teachers, because we have so many kids now that gets put out of school because they're not respectful to the teachers. They feel that they run the classroom and they don't. They feel that they can tell their parents what to do, but he teaches our children to say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, and he teaches them to wait their turn to talk and not be rude and just interrupt people.
If not for being here at Master Anderson's Taekwondo Center, I would still be on the streets. I wouldn't have graduated from high school. I would still be disrespectful to my parents. I probably would not be the person who I am today, because who I am today is not who I used to be before I came to Master Anderson's Taekwondo Center.
I was a real bad child. I really didn't care about my mom, but when I came to Taekwondo, it changed me. It showed me what to do. Master Anderson showed me to do the right things and what I need to do.
Well, my name is Hennessy Lewis, and I am a first degree black belt with Anderson's Taekwondo. And the reason why I'm here, because they helped, like when I was a little baby, I used to cuss my teachers out, punch them, throw desks, and like a bad child, go to AOC all the time, and stuff like that. And when I came here, it helps me with my discipline and it helps me with my personality.
We've done a lot in the community, helped a lot of kids. It's almost impossible for me to go to the grocery store without running into someone that I trained or been under my tutelage.
I didn't have any problems like that. I was not on the streets or anything like that. Everything was good. Right after joining Anderson's Taekwondo, I learned a lot. It was a lot of discipline. I enjoyed it very well. Along the time as being in Anderson's Taekwondo, it's taught me a lot. Like I said, a lot of discipline, being an honest person, open person, being the best person I can be.
He has a wonderful program here for children ages 2.5 and up, and even for adults, because he teaches adults that they can reach the next level. Some adults need help with their self-esteem, and some of them just need to know that they can do it, that they can go to the next level. And Chief Master Anderson is here, and he helps them do that.
This is my little cousin, and she's actually 3 years old, and she's actually in Taekwondo. Myself, I am 42 years old, so there's a big generation gap, but we can reach each other through Master Anderson and be able to do things within the family-oriented atmosphere.
My name is James Hunter Sr. I am actually a student of Anderson Taekwondo, so is my son and my daughter. He's giving me inspiration.
Well, my name is Kenneth Donahue, and what Chief Master Anderson to me is a person who will help you when needed. He will never leave you out.
Anderson's Taekwondo Center is a real outlet for children in the community who don't have like parents behind the back telling them don't fight, don't sell drugs, but Master Anderson is that step up father to tell them the right things to do.
My name is Brandy Nolan, and I bring my son and my daughter to Masters Anderson's because he is wonderful with the kids. He's teaching them beautiful discipline, Bible scriptures. He believes in the children in the community. He believes in giving them a chance and bettering themselves for the future.
The reason why the Taekwondo Center really hit home for me was because it is spiritually based. It is Christian based, and that is what keeps me going, is my faith in God, and knowing that whatever He has put in us, He's going to perfect it.
Back in the day, I used to don't go to church, but now, after built and built and built, I know scriptures, I remember them, and I'm like a righteousness person.
Master Anderson is a very important person in the community, and he's a wonderful man, and my children love it.
I really love it here. This is my home. This is where I want to be. Live and die right here in the state of Arkansas. I'm just saddened by the way things has happened and what's going on now. I always try to teach my students to do the right thing. And in order for me to tell them to do the right thing, then I have to be the example for them. You don't ever see me at clubs. You don't ever see me drunk or out there in the streets doing anything that's inappropriately, because I don't want my students to do it. I want them to have a living example of what they can become and do. The only part that I haven't been able to show them is that in business you can make a lot of money, because in the business, in the way I'm running my martial arts school, is a gimme, is a giveaway. Some students are able to pay and they pay, but the most part, most students can't pay. And we keep the kids and train the students anyway.
Since I was a young child, the only thing I could think about doing was martial arts. And I actually came here with no money, so I couldn't afford to pay for my classes here. And Master Anderson told me to come out here anyway, and he trained me up until the point that I am now. And he also taught me a lot in life about discipline and self-respect.
Without the center, I think this city would be at a loss. A lot of students that don't have any place to go, or that they don't have anything extra in their life, something positive, he instills that by bringing them into the center, by giving them something that they could do, by something that they can look forward to, and by teaching them self-discipline, just self-motivation, just believing in yourself. And there's that old saying that they have at the center, "Get back, bully, leave us alone." And I feel that's exactly, anytime I look at a Landers sign, I think, get back, bully. Leave them alone. They did what you wanted. Your word is your bond. And we really want Steve Landers and family to keep their word.
My mom has always taught us to be fair. If nothing else, be fair. If you ever had anything in writing or not in writing, at least you fair. Shake hands and keep to your word and stay to your word. And so when the opportunity came up to move to Landers, with them giving me a phone call, asking me to come out and take a look at a building that they had, that they noticed that we was on Channel 11 and Channel 7 with St. Mark's. We was at their building for a while, and they was tearing all our buildings down to start a mega church. And so they tore our building down that we were in there. And so Steve gave me a call, and I met with him and his general manager, and they proceeded to tell me about this building that they had. And I was very nervous about the situation, so I asked a lot of questions, like, well, what if the car business blow up and you want this spot back? I was told, we'll never use this spot again. This spot is yours for as long as you're going to be there. As we're going to be there, you can be there. Now, the thing of it is, you're going to have to fix it up. If you can fix it up to use for your benefit, then it's yours scot-free. We can't afford to put any money in it, but I might have some friends that can help you out with that. I'll be happy to give them a call. And I told him that our half, or this part of what we'll do, make sure that they're on all of our flyers, make sure that they're, whenever I'm speaking on radio or TV, that I'll mention how Landers has helped us out, and how their partnership with us is a good one for the community. And we stuck to that, and we done that. After we spent labors and hours and monies and fixing this school up, because when I looked at it, I about cried. It was an ugly place. It was really ugly. Heating units falling from the ceiling, light fixtures in disarray, big iron things sticking up out of the floor. The walls as ugly as all get out. But it was a garage. What can you expect, I guess? But the bathroom was backed up, and feces and the odor and flies and nets was coming out of the bathroom. And he said there was a problem with the toilets and stuff. He didn't know exactly what it was. But later we found out and heard from one of their guys that there was a broken line 40 feet out in the parking lot that was crushed and needed to be repaired, and it's about $10,000 to repair. Well, I went back to Steve, and after we had shook hands, and I agreed because I really felt like those out there that believe in God can understand what I'm saying. I felt like God had touched me on the shoulder and said, Richard, you're going to put a building inside of this building. It will be beautiful and no one would ever see it, the ugliness of it. So I was smiling while everybody else was still looking at me crazy. Brother Alim Muhammad was with me, as he was one of my second-degree black belts, and he heard everything as well. And so we kind of looked at each other and shook hands with Steve and told him that it's a go, you know. And at that point, Steve told me, he said, I got to make sure our insurance will cover you. As soon as I get the okay from that, Mr. Anderson, you can move in and do what you need to do to it to get it ready. And we thanked them, and we went on our way, not knowing, again, about the broken line and all of that in the parking lot, how we was going to get that fixed. So later on, I gave him a call and asked Steve if he could help us fix that line because his guy said it was broken. And again, he iterated to me on the phone, Master Anderson, I told you I can't put any money into this thing. If you can get it fixed, if you can fix things, then it's yours for free. And at that time, I called Aero Printing. Aero Printing came out, and praying and a lot of praying and some more praying, it wasn't a busted line. It was just clogged, and it broke free. And so we have bathrooms. We put in a girls' and boys' bathroom and shower, and it's a really nice school. And I don't know what happened. Me and my students and my parents, we still don't know what happened. We don't have a clue what happened. All I know is that 6 months or later down the road, they come into my store, and Steve and his brothers and general managers and presented me with a $800 and some bill for utilities. Well, what is this about? And they said, well, you incurred some utility costs. I said, but you said we was here for free, and we didn't have any costs to pay. And he said, yeah, but if you guys could help. I said, well, sir, I can understand that possibly that was something you didn't think about, but you did say we could have this for free if we can fix it up. We did that. But give us about 6 months or so, and we'll see what we can do. We owe so much money for putting this thing together. I turned in my life insurance policy. I borrowed from everybody I can think of to borrow from, and my students did as well. And so we got about $100,000 into this thing. And we just got so many people to pay back, my instructors and myself and everybody. We're not receiving any money out of this thing right now. We're trying to pay things back. So they seemed to understood and took that, I thought. About a month later, they come back with a lease, an at-will lease. And that was my first time ever seeing an at-will lease. I didn't know what an at-will lease was, actually. And they laid it on my desk and said, here, sign this. Well, I said, well, you don't mind if I read it first? I got to about the second or third line, I guess it was, and it read, leaseor have the right to terminate the lease of the leasee anytime, for any reason, or for absolutely no reason. After seeing that, I quickly said, no, sir, I can't sign this. Well, why not? I said, well, because if I sign this, it's like saying you got the right to kill me. If you just walked in here and shot and killed me, then you have something to answer to. Somebody got to do something. But if I wrote you a note and said, come in here and kill me, then I gave you permission to do so, and I can't do that. And so that was the beginning of a heartbreaking situation, because from that day on, it was strictly downhill. No advertising, couldn't put no signs out, and we had made arrangement with Steve, and he had okayed a big, nice, beautiful sign for us to go out. We was doing great partnership things with marching in parades and with their cars and stuff, and it's just it was an excellent mix. I never seen a business opportunity so well ready to gel together. Todd Hubbard, who is the general manager at this store where we're at, he and I was planning things like putting up billboards with the kids and the car salesmen working together, and setting up a sign in front of right below their sign that's saying Chief Master Anderson and Landers working together for the community. A perfect mix. Why it's so perfect? Because I'm on the parking lot of the car dealership. Every mother, every father, every cousin, uncle, aunt that comes to see me or come to see students at our center or come to think about signing up, they have to pass their cars. If they're there for a year, they got to pass their cars for a year, in and out. And a lot of my students have bought cars. A lot of the students that parents associated with other parents that come in has bought cars. So where we at this point, I leave in the hands of my attorneys. I don't like courts. I don't like going through situations like this because it's stifling from what I'm actually geared and built to do, and that's teach Taekwondo and help children. And that's what I want to continue to do here in the state of Arkansas.
We've been here going on a little bit over 10 years, and I'm glad that we first met him 10 years ago, and I plan to stick with him as long as possible.
We love Senior Master Anderson, and my kids love the center, and that's why they're here.
Hello, my name is Sabrine Jolly. I'm a purple belt at Anderson Taekwondo Center, and the reason I want to continue having Anderson Taekwondo Center around is because he's a positive person, and he tries to advocate positivity. He brings kids out of the worst situations and the worst circumstances, and he keeps building us, and we become better people day by day, and we love Senior Master Anderson. We want to keep this center.
I kind of want everybody out there that know me, that trained under me, rally behind me at this point, because I don't have money, but we do have you, we have the public, we have the community. I don't think I would be up for being inducted into the Black Hall of Fame on October the 19th if I guess I haven't done some things right. So please, that would be my plea. Help me get the Landers to say, we made a mistake, we're sorry, let us help you now. Continue your fight to save our children in the state of Arkansas.
You know, Steve Landers, he's that giant. And Anderson's Taekwondo, the students, they had a little slingshot. And so, but you know, Master Anderson instills in us to keep it positive. And the students, they keep it positive. And so, and that's why I say, you know, Steve Landers, get back, bully, leave us alone. We have a little slingshot. That's all we have. All we have is us. We have our word. And we're trying to take Goliath down, but we don't want to take him down in a nice way to let him know, hey, we're here to stay. We're on this property. We love our center. We don't want to move.
This is my second family. Like, if I'm having a problem at home, I know I can come here and get some real closure. They help me see sides to the story that I didn't see. So, like, they're very, very important. Like, if we were to lose this center, I'd cry. I'd really cry.
I had a chance to meet this young lawyer, and the governor had asked me to be Arkansas State Athletic Commissioner. I didn't know what the devil that was at first, and found out, and I started going to those meetings and doing the best job I could to help regulate MMA, mixed martial arts. And I met Jason Stewart, And he must have seen my eyes or seen something about me that wasn't quite right. And he said, Master Anderson, what's wrong with you today? And I showed him this at-will lease and told him what was going on. And he, right on the spot, I mean, without really knowing me that well, said that he'll take this thing on for me. He know those guys. He know people like them because that's what he does day in and day out. But he was already bogged down with doing a lot of things for the commission, but he took time to talk to me about our situation that I was going through. And the biggest thing about all of that, he said that he'll do it for pro bono. That means free, because we didn't have any money, and God bless him for that. And so it's been 2 years down the road and a lot of litigation, and he hasn't got paid, and still don't know why. Why, Landers, why? Why are you doing this to the kids?
As you heard Chief Master Anderson explain a short time ago, he's been instrumental in helping the hundreds and hundreds of at-risk youth and young adults in the Little Rock and Central Arkansas area through his programs at the Anderson's Taekwondo Center. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that takes these at-risk youth and gives them some hope and gives them a place to focus their energies. I was serving at the behest of Governor Beebe as a commissioner on the Arkansas State Athletic Commission, and that's how I came to meet Chief Master Anderson. He also was a commissioner on the commission, and there was a meeting where he just really didn't seem himself. So after the meeting, I said, Chief Master Anderson, what's the problem? And he said, well, I've got this Taekwondo Center that is a nonprofit that we operate and for at-risk youth, and we had this transaction and this deal worked out with Landers for our children so that we could have a facility over on University there in Little Rock. And I said, well, okay. And he said, well, they've kind of backed out or changed the deal on me, and they've got this lease that they want me to sign. And he said, I just can't sign it. I don't know what to do. And we don't have any money. We're not a cash-rich operation like the Red Cross or United Way or any of these other large charities. We're just a small local charity. And so I said, well, Chief Master Anderson, I'll be glad to take a look at it for you. And he invited me out to the center to meet the kids and see the facility that they constructed. And I'm a corporate and business attorney here in Little Rock and handle complex civil litigation and real estate and asset protection. And so, as part of my real estate practice, it is always helpful to go see a facility or see a piece of property when you're trying to do a transaction. And this facility just happens to be about 2 or 3 miles down University from our offices here in the Plaza West building. So one afternoon I went down and toured the facility, and it was amazing what they had done with this property. And I met some of the kids, and it was at that point that those children and the efforts of Chief Master Anderson had really seized my heart and said, all right, I've got to help these kids. So I agreed to take on this task and try to negotiate with the Landers family through their attorney and see what the actual issues were and if there was some type of resolution. As it turns out, the original deal that had been struck when Anderson's Taekwondo was looking for a new place to call home because their previous location they was going to be used for other purposes, and they had to vacate there. And there was a news piece that had run on the local television station, And one of the members of the Landers family had seen that and contacted Chief Master Anderson. And Steve Landers Jr. Met with Chief Master Anderson and said, "Hey, I think I've got a solution for you. We've got a car lot over on University, and we don't have a need for a large area out in the former service bays. We've built these new facilities out here, these new multi-million-dollar facilities over on Colonel Glenn, and that service bay is not going to be used over on University. How would you guys like to use that? You can be there for as long as we've got operations there." And Chief Master Anderson, this was sometime around October or November in 2010, and Chief Master Anderson went back to the board of directors for Anderson's Taekwondo and explained the situation, and they asked a few questions, and some subsequent negotiations ensued with Steve Landers Jr. and the Landers family. And long story short, they kind of struck a deal where the Landers family said, "Hey, as long as one of us is running a business out of that location, Anderson's Taekwondo can be there. All you guys have to do is fix it up, and other than that, there's no cost or expense to you. You fix it up and you can use it free of charge." And that just kind of sealed the deal for Anderson's Taekwondo, and they relied on that, and they went out and raised quite a bit of money through fundraising and got quite a few people to donate their expertise in their various trades to, in essence, construct an 8,500 square foot building inside of a building. And it's a fantastic facility, but they still, Anderson's Taekwondo still had to invest somewhere around $100,000 of time and material and labor in fixing up this facility. Landers was being very generous in their offer, but at the same time they were going to get some benefits out of this, because the at-risk youth and the particular location there on South University of this facility, that Landers dealership targets a certain segment of the Central Arkansas market, and especially the Little Rock market, for a socioeconomic group that often can't afford to buy a car outright and is more inclined to finance a vehicle. And financing is a very profitable aspect of a car dealership and car sales. So with those type at-risk youth and that segment of the socioeconomic market coming into the Anderson's Taekwondo on a daily basis, it seemed to work very well for Landers in increasing the traffic at that car lot, and at the same time, the Landers family was able to help these at-risk youth, and Anderson's Taekwondo was very grateful and fulfilled their end of this bargain by making sure to thank the Landers family and Landers Toyota and Landers Pre-Owned, and really hype them up at every event and make sure that all the parents and relatives of the children who were attending the programs at Anderson's Taekwondo, make sure that they were aware of the benefits that the Landers family was bestowing on Anderson's Taekwondo. And everything went just fine, it seems, for around 6 months or so. The Landers family knew that the renovations were going on and had come in and toured the facility and commented on how nice everything was shortly after those renovations. Anderson's Taekwondo occupied the facility for between 6 and 9 months. It was around 6-month time frame. No rent had been requested, no payment for utilities or anything. Just everything was going in accordance with the parties' agreement. But then the Landers came in with their service manager. I think it was Steve Landers Jr. came in, and they started asking Chief Master Anderson to sign a lease for Anderson's Taekwondo to occupy this space. And a lease wasn't something that had ever been agreed to on the front end. In fact, Anderson's Taekwondo had asked about a lease because they wanted some type of assurance on the front end. But Lander's family said, no, we can't give you a lease because we're leasing the facility ourselves. So, we can't do that. But as long as we're here, you can be here. This lease had terms in it which just were very, very adverse and contrary to the parties' initial agreement. The best advice for Anderson's Taekwondo is don't sign this agreement. You've spent over $100,000 fixing this facility up for these at-risk youth, and you need time for the community to get the benefit out of that and to recover the money from grants and whatever other sources of revenue you can to pay off the loans and pay back the services that have been donated for a build-out. And so we still wanted to thank the Landers and let them know that their generosity was not being overlooked, and if they needed to change the terms of the parties' agreement, we would see what we could do to accommodate their reasonable requests. At that point, sometime, if I recall correctly, sometime around April or May of 2011, I think it was around April or May of 2011, I began to engage in conversations and negotiations with Lander's family's attorney and see exactly what is it that the Landers are wanting here. And at first they said, well, we want a lease, and we want this lease to have an at-will provision where we can terminate on 60 or 90 days notice. And we want Anderson's Taekwondo to pay for the utilities. And I explained that was just something that those were two issues that Anderson's Taekwondo couldn't do. They couldn't afford to pay back all the money that they had borrowed to make the improvements, and at the same time be at risk for having to vacate on 60 or 90 days notice. That was just unreasonable and too far astray from the parties' original agreement and what Anderson's Taekwondo had relied upon in making that substantial investment to begin with. So it was just a little shocking to me that all of a sudden and out of the clear blue, the Landers family had been letting Anderson's Taekwondo use this facility and for 6 or 7 months and had not asked them for rent, had not asked them to pay for utilities. They were rocking along just like they had discussed and agreed back in November of the previous year. So it seemed like something else may have been afoot, and we never have been able to figure out what that is. But our negotiations continued, and I, on behalf of Anderson's Taekwondo, contacted Entergy and several other contractors and organizations in Central Arkansas, trying to see if we could put together something that would accommodate the Landers' concern about the $800 or $1,100 a month of increased utilities, electricity use and whatnot. While that is a lot of money, at the same time, comparatively, or as compared against the expenses for that car lot overall, I wouldn't think that that's a great sum to the Landers family. But nevertheless, Anderson's Taekwondo wanted to try to accommodate Landers' request to change the terms of their deal, and we just weren't able to get that done. So around July, I guess, of 2011 is when Landers filed suit in Pulaski County Circuit Court to evict Anderson's Taekwondo and Chief Master Anderson. That left Anderson's Taekwondo with with no choice other than to file a counterclaim and file suit back against the Landers to enforce their prior agreement and to try to recover this $100,000 of investment in improving the Landers facility. Alternatively, the Anderson's Taekwondo just wanted the Landers family to honor the previous agreement, and that was to allow use of this property as long as the Landers family had a business there. That litigation has continued on for about 2 years now, and a few weeks ago, Judge Fox here in Pulaski County issued an order which terminated the proceedings in a summary judgment fashion and ruled in favor of the Landers family and evicting Anderson's Taekwondo from the Landers pre-owned facility there on South University and dismissing the Anderson's Taekwondo's counterclaims without letting us go to a jury and without any real evidence in the record that we believe supports such a ruling. So we're currently in the process of filing that appeal. It's going to be a lengthy process and it'll be an expensive process, but as I committed my firm to take this case on pro bono, and we've expended in excess of 200 hours, over $60,000 of our time to fight this case and try to find solutions for Anderson's Taekwondo. I've also agreed to take up this matter on appeal as well on a pro bono basis. We've been fortunate enough because it is a great strain on my small firm's resources to donate such a substantial amount of time, and we've been fortunate enough that 2 other local attorneys, Marion Humphrey and Simmons Smith, have agreed to join our effort and are also donating their time pro bono to assist with this appeal and whatever future litigation may come up from it. But at the same time, we have a lot of costs that are going to be out of pocket incurred. It's one thing for the attorneys to donate their time, but it's another when we have actual filing fees and costs and copy costs and hard research costs and whatnot. So, to the extent that Anderson's Taekwondo can scrape up a little money here and there, that's certainly helpful in defraying those costs. We'd really like to know what it is that caused the Landers family to want to change their mind about the parties' agreement, and we'd like to take this thing to a jury and take it to a trial and find out what's the basis for changing the parties' agreement. Why did you do an about face after allowing Anderson's Taekwondo to make $100,000 of improvements to your facility and then not asking them for rent, not asking them for utilities for well over 6 months, and then all of a sudden changing your mind? And an interesting development during the case of this, or during the course of the 2-year litigation, is that in November of this past year, November of 2012, a member of the Landers family, Scott Landers, purchased through Landers University LLC, he purchased this facility. So whereas the Landers family used to lease this property, they've now purchased this property and adjoining undeveloped property behind it. So it seems pretty clear to me that the Landers family has an intent to be at this location and operate a business there long term. And maybe it's that their development plans for the property have changed. But if that's the case, they should make that known to Anderson's Taekwondo, and let's work together to get this resolved and not just kick these little kids out on the street. That's the benefits to the community and the caring nature of the Landers family that's shown in their commercials is not being upheld when these little kids just summarily get thrown out and evicted from their after-school programs and all the programs that are helping them fight the challenges and adversities that they experience in their day-to-day lives. So, you know, we will continue the good fight and hopefully prevail once this gets reversed on appeal and we get back to the trial court.
Help me get the Landers to say, we made a mistake, we're sorry, let us help you now continue your fight to save our children in the state of Arkansas.